Back to my YouTube channel. I do have on a shirt. My name is Ebony Janice. I go by Ebony Janice, which means that you should call me Ebony Janice. And I'm here today to talk about Black dreaming. Okay, I want to talk about the Black Panthers breakfast program as a Black dream. And this is in response to the alternative imaginations, which is a conversation that I've been having on Thursdays this month. But Black dreaming and alternative imaginations and Mbongi and these African-centered Black, ideas around what it would look like for us to be imagining a new future or dreaming a new future or dreaming something other than this democratic pursuit that we've been in. So I've been talking a lot about the Black Panther Party breakfast program for the children because of the simplicity of it. Basically, this breakfast program at its peak, the Black Panthers were feeding over 10,000 children every day across multiple cities. They didn't wait for the government. They basically identified the need. The children were hungry. They organized the community. They sourced the food. They trained the volunteers. And then they built a daily practice of collective care that functioned as a parallel institution. So what is wild is that the FBI considered it one of the most dangerous programs that the Panthers operated. And that tells you everything that you need to know about the power of community. That when it comes to our activism, very rarely has the FBI stepped in and called something dangerous. To this extent, education they consider dangerous. Too much community gathering, they consider that dangerous. Feeding children, they consider that dangerous. And you're talking about the FBI considering this one of their most dangerous programs. Meanwhile, the Panthers were arming a militia. And of course, they considered that dangerous. But to include feeding children, a part of what was dangerous, is profound information about how important taking care of each other is. And so I'm offering this in this Black dreaming conversation that I have every Saturday during this 100-day, challenge that I've given to myself. To talk about Black dreaming every Saturday is to bring in this idea that this breakfast program was a dreamed institution. Somebody saw this problem and said that children are hungry, and then they used their imagination to say, and it wasn't even a big leap. They just used their imagination to say, here's the need, let's feed the kids. Let's do it every day. It probably started, in fact, just as someone who has been an organizer for years, I'm certain it started as like let's feed these kids. Somebody up the street. And then it turned into, okay, we're not just going to feed these kids. Let's see if there are more children that are part of this school that are hungry. And then it just turned into a progressive, like in the next city, we will, encourage the other chapters to feed their children. But this was all a part of this was a dreamed institution. This idea, that they would build this out and not wait for some external institution, the government, that could never be dependent on to take care of the people, that they would do it themselves. I've continued to say this over and over again, over and over again, and over and over again, that community is, I believe, the thing that we're looking for, even as voting rights are being rescinded. I saw, just as a side note, but not a side note, I saw some people marching in DC yesterday and they were chanting, what do we want? Voting rights. When do you want them now? And I was like, what in the 1964 is this? And while I do believe that petitions and, voting and pursuing, writing letters to and calling and getting the attention of our legislators, all of that is a part of the work that we must continue to do. Our ancestors and our elders reveal so much profound progress to us and the capacity to us through that type of activism. And also, what they reveal to us, that I think that we have put more emphasis in a particular form of activism than this form of activism, which is just taking care of each other, which is feeding each other, which is clothing each other, which is being kind to each other. It seems so altruistic, but it's really not. It's really not. When you line up what are some of the most profound movements for justice have looked like and how they started and then engage them against how they ended, they were so impactful when they were grassroots, oftentimes much more impactful grassroots. This isn't a knock against NAACP because I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. So this isn't to say anything negative about the NAACP, but when you look at what the NAACP was doing when the lawyers were having to get in their cars and go from city to city to take care of certain cases, the grassroots efforts are always the efforts that's like, we're about to turn the world upside down. If feeding each other isn't grassroots, I don't know what it is. If having a book club and making sure that we offer, health and sexual education, sexual health education in those conversations, we could be reading romance novels and providing condoms at the same time. Like these types of grassroots programs that we use our Black dreaming to come up with is what is going to change the world. And I just feel like we do not have enough faith in the grassroots efforts that have consistently, historically changed the game for us as Black people here in the US and across the globe. And that's the end of this video, but I really just want to end by saying again, when I discovered community, I keep acting like I invented the bean burrito in community, but I've been reading so much just on Black liberation movements. I've been reading so much on just ideals that have been impactful. And historically, the thing that I have found is that community and taking care of each other, we need safety. We need hush harbors. We need to be in community with each other. We need to be gatekeeping. We need to be in the privacy of our own spaces. And it really it didn't take a huge leap for my Black dreaming and imagination to get there, but I'm interested in just bringing these conversations around an institution and Black dreaming into one space together. The institution that was built around the Black Panther Breakfast Program. What institutions could you build just starting grassroots? Start grassroots and don't think of it as, oh, we're going to expand this across the nation once this is successful here. Imagine if just in your neighborhood it was successful. So think about the time of COVID. If you had built something, or if you did, because a lot of people did this, if you had already built some grassroots something that was doing XYZ work and the people in the community knew each other, while we all running out buying Cocoa Puffs and beans because we were terrified when lockdown first happened, there is this profound opportunity to not have to try to search for where are we going to get this from, because the communal organization, the institution already exists. And that can only work grassroots. We could not be sending each other Cocoa Puffs and beans. Well, I mean, my sisters were doing that. My sisters were sending me my favorite cereal in the mail, which is very dramatic during that lockdown. But I'm saying that to say family and intimate community is always going to be the way that we get free. It is always the beginning. It is always the middle. And we got to figure out how to make it our ending.